Fantastic, fantastic. And for those online viewers, sorry, we are shifting things around a little bit. The previous speaker who was supposed to be online, we've shifted just one up, and Ashley, as you know, has just presented, and then Lisa and Wango. I hope that doesn't mess with your schedule. You're going to be presenting afterwards. So Professor Alumeti, Munyali, I hope you can hear me, and thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I know it's incredibly stressful right now, and the work that you do is unbelievable. And I know that it's not going to be easy for us to hear your presentation from horror to hope, because the DRC really has had incredible issues with sexual violence in terms of the conflict. And this is something that we haven't really mentioned up to now, but unfortunately, rape is a weapon of war, and it is something that is utilized in areas of conflict. It's a horrific practice, and in DRC, I think they have a really huge problem, which is why the work of the Panzi Foundation is so admirable. Dr. Alumeti Munyali Desiree is a forensic doctor of the Panzi Foundation, and that's based in Congo. He's also the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine at the University Evangelique en Afrique. And I know I didn't say that correctly because I'm not French, but I hope that you understood it. He holds various degrees, and he is also the director for the Center for Forensic Medicine at the University of Bukavu. He's also a trainer of trainers in the collection and analysis of forensic evidence. As we know, this is such an important subject, which Ashley has also touched upon, and also an expert in the analysis of the crime scene in multi-sectoral care of survivors and sexual-based violence. Please take a chance to look up the Panzi Foundation to the incredible work that they do. So without further ado, is Professor available? Hello and welcome. And I'm going to hand over to you, and hopefully we will be able to see your presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to give me the floor, but I can begin by apologize. M23 don't give me the opportunity to be with you in this meeting in Nairobi, and also I can discuss with you from of sexual assault in DRC. This is the work we do with University UAI, Université Évangélique en Afrique. My communication can be, I can do it for some introduction, methods, result, and a few conclusions. Ladies and gentlemen, DRC is one of the big and rich countries in Africa. You can know that after the Rwanda's genocide, many wars in DRC is described. And the first one was Liberation War for President Kabila. And after that, we see that rape as a weapon of the war. And until this day, rape is a weapon of the war. But we have many groups of army. So what is the consequence of rape in weapon of the war? It's the same. When we do the rape, open the war, many consequences. The first one is to destroy the social family. And when we have the rape is a weapon of the war, population is displacement. And we know that transmission of disease like VIH, HIV, and many deaths. So all this, it's annihilated the population. And what is the consequence? The big consequence is to exploit some mineral, gold, and the coltan. We know everybody who is in this symposium have the computer and have some mobile phone. In our mobile phone, we have the culture of Congo, and the mobile phone, the culture of Congo is coming from the rap is open the war. Ladies and gentlemen, rape and sexual violence is the one most horror crime, and crime be characterized by physical damage, like the big wound, some ladies got pregnancy, and some mental health disease like anxiety, depression, and someone go to suicide. What is the aim of my communication? My communication is to discover in DRC and the Panzi model, which is a hope to specialize in the transformation on the victim in the survivor. Panzi Hospital, it's one of the big country who is in east of Congo. And east of Congo, we have DRC there. We know of the maps. We see the map of Africa, and after that we have the map of DRC. And Panzi, it's one of the big hospital in Bukavu. So I can say that we are welcome in Bukavu to see the beautiful, beautiful ecologic, beautiful climate. You are welcome in DRC. What is the result for my communication? Ladies and gentlemen, you can know that for a few decades, Panzi Hospital treats many victims of violence sexual, can be the gender, and all age include children, young people, and elderly. And 1% of this victim was a man. And so that the victims arrive before 72 hours to prevent some disease like HIV. And you can know that many of these victims was a minor, and some of them was 10 years old. It's important to say that 11 of this victim got pregnancy, but you don't do some DNA to say what is a parent, what is the parent of these babies. You know that babies can know his parent, but all pregnancy you have at the hospital don't do DNA. This was the big horror. What is the horror in DRC now? Some of them had serious physical injury. We do some surgery for some victims, can be the several burns to the deliberate wounds. Some of them, I say that, gave pregnancy and additionally mental disease with associated for the victims who are received at Panzi Hospital. This horror describes some and all victims we have at Panzi Hospital. And when we finish the treatment, some victims come back to us with some symptoms like they don't sleep, they have some pains, and many sexual problems. And we can see that some of them do some attacks, depression, and suicide tendency. And we can see that many of these victims need justice and social integration. Victims who have some so that Panzi Hospital imagine some a model to treat victims, and the model includes medical care, psychological care, social and legal care. The four compartments should operate in the one place, and we say that it's one-stop center. And all that we call that holistic care. And from this holistic care, we hope that we can hope to treat victims. This medical, psychological, and social and legal assistance should be the four pillars should operate in the one place. I say that it means it's called one-stop center. You can know that no pillar is more important than the other, and all having the same value. So it's important to show that this pillar do in complementarity, and this model now known now as the theory of the chair. And the theory of the chair hope to treat to accompany the victims. So when we see this slide, we say that we have the chair there. No pillar for the chair. It's long. It's important from the other, because when one of them should that is the important, victim can fall down, and so this one is called together. We work together in the same place, and this model, the one-stop center, transforming the victims into the survivor. We can know that each pillar is made up activity. Example, in medical care, we can respect what we call guideline principle. And guideline principle, it means confidentiality. We can say that autodetermination for the survivor. We can do all things in security, and it's important to do not discrimination. And medical care, it's accompanied with psychological aspects. You know, in Congo, east of Congo, now we integrated the psychologists in the dual care of the victim. After these two cares, legal aspects can support. At Panzi Hospital, we support the victim by lawyers with the court and tribunal, and by promoting the mobile hearing. Justice is needed for the victims. And psychological social aspect, each victim is supported by, we call that Mama Sheri, it's a dear mother. We teach victims some small trade, and we give us some microcredits, music therapy, musicotherapy. It's music therapy. It's victim do some musics and allow women to feel like they listen. Those are four pillars, I say that, work in the same place. We know that the integration of this pillar in take care of victims, that alone has to transform victims in survivor. And now we have the young girl at the eastern of Congo. Ladies and gentlemen, this model knows that now it's known that in all countries, Abel, in all countries. I say that this model is now in this model is known now in all countries, and like we apply in many countries like DRC, Central Africa country, Guinea-Conakry, Iraq, and now we go to Ukraine. And this model is applied in conference of Great Lake region. What we train some medical lawyers who come from Burundi, Rwanda, and Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, I can do a few conclusions for my communication. Is a reality in the world. You know that rape is a cosmopolitan phenomenon. It's also an arm of conflict, increase the number of horror and the case like in DRC and all countries who have war like Burundi, Rwanda, Ukraine, Iraq. We do the rape like a weapon of the war. The physical and mental damage is incommensurable. The care of victims of sexual violence must be centered to the person, and we call that holistic care. Panzi model integrated the four compartmental, four pillar, medical, psychological, legal, and psychosocial care, and all that take place in the one place. We call that one-stop center. Panzi model is the origin of the transforming of the victim into the survivor. It says that if East Africa community can apply the model of Panzi Hospital one-stop center, I hope we can transform the victim into the survivor. I cannot finish my communication. I have to say, acknowledge with DNA for Africa team to invite me, but I don't be with you there, but for the problem of M23. And I say a big thank for Vanessa and Ing for all facilitation and all colleagues who participate in this symposium. I said also thanks for Panzi Hospital. Asante sana, asante sana. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Dr. Alumeti, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you very much.
Hello, hello. I will definitely one day come to DRC and visit you at the Panzi Foundation, and I hope to meet you in person. Thank you.
You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome.
I know.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much for your time, and despite the difficulty in getting you connected, this really also just illustrates that no matter what, we make it happen, and I thank you for your time. Some of those stats, they were unbelievable, and I'm sure you all felt the same way. They were numbers, but each number represents a human being, and those are, as Ashley said, only the human beings who have come forward. And there really is there is so much to do in the DRC, and I hope now, being part of the East African community, that you can join in the collaborations that are happening here. And I'm sorry you weren't able to be here in person and meet your colleagues and see the amazing things that they are doing with forensic DNA in terms of sexual violence. And already you've created incredible paradigms that are being used throughout the world. And hopefully now we can help you build the forensic DNA infrastructures to really identify the serial offenders and the offenders of these terrible, terrible crimes against your citizens and your women and children. Does anyone have a question for Dr. Alumeti whilst he's online? Yes, there's one question here. If you can hear us, Dr. Alumeti.
Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
Yay, question. I'm sorry, just here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. very much.
My question was on what is the DRC doing in convicting those perpetrators? The number is huge. Do DRC have a forensic lab to identify those perpetrators? And in their legal system, do they use DNA in their conviction? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, DRC, for the perpetrator, we do many lawyers. We call it foreign lawyers, and many perpetrator is in the jail now. But we don't have the forensic lab, and we don't do the DNA. It's the DNA lab is needed for DRC, because I can say that some when I present my communication, we have many kids who don't know his parents, and it's a DNA lab who can help us to have the confirmation. And also, when we have the perpetrator, I think so, it's the DNA lab, DNA analyze can help us to know if it's really the perpetrator. This is a big challenge for the DRC. We don't have the lab, forensic lab. One of the forensic doctor who works for all cases of victims. It's not easy for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm sure that Dr. Alumeti, you won't mind if anybody would like to reach out to you with any questions. I'm sure you'd be open to answering them too, and I can provide you with his details. And it will be wonderful, maybe in the future, if we are able to get together again, that you can join us in person, as I'm sure we will all have a lot to share. So thank you for your time. Stay safe. Thank you for the incredible work that you're doing. And we hope to meet you in person soon.
Thank you very much.